Last night, I was at Starbucks. I got like 2 free meals, and I don't know how it happened, but I mean, I'm pretty sure I know how it happened. But at first, I came in, like, I've been coming into this Starbucks for over a week now, pretty much every day, either to use the bathroom. It's usually to use the bathroom and charge my phone at least for an hour. Um, I would stay there over an hour. Now I'm just trying to keep it at an hour, especially since, like, you know, yeah, I'm just trying to keep it an hour. But so I was there last night as usual, and also get some food too. Also, I just didn't want to like go into my money that much, but I'm like, I gotta eat, like, and I can't just eat cold meals. Can't just eat like cold stuff all the time. Like, I have to have a hot meal. Like, just it's not nutritious or healthy for me to eat, like, cold stuff all the time. Also, like, I noticed my energy has gotten like a lot better since I've been eating like hot meals, of course. But anyways, I went in there last night. I couldn't get anything because, like I said, they don't accept cash. So if they did accept cash, I could have, gotten a little something for me. But I went to Subway because I know they definitely accept cash. So I went there yesterday, got myself a little nice vegetarian sub, and some chips and a drink and stuff. Anyways, at Starbucks last night, I got like my usual, like, a cup of ice water. And that night, like, I actually drank all of the ice water. Like, they gave me a large cup. I drank the whole thing. I was even gonna like get a second one because it was, like I said, it was almost 90 degrees yesterday. And as much as I tried to stay out of the sun, as much as I like kind of achieved that, I fell asleep in the sun. So sometimes that happens. Like, so yeah, I was like really hot and I was like super dehydrated and thirsty or whatever. But so I drank a lot of ice water last night. And it was just super delicious. Their ice water is delicious. Anyways, I got my usual ice water. I usually don't get anything to eat while I'm there. Like I said, I'm just there mainly to use the bathroom, charge my phone. But I just, get something so I have a excuse to be there. So I can take care of what I can take care of while I'm there for a little while and then leave. So, because at these stores and restaurants, they don't like you to, what's it called? They don't like you to, what's the word for it? Loiter. They don't like you to loiter. So you need to buy something. You need to like get something. So I usually get a cup of ice water because it's free. I mean, it's technically I'm not buying anything, but when I can, I do buy something. Anyways, because I want to get into the story time. So I got that, and while I'm waiting for it, I set my stuff down, and then they're like, "Oh, like, you're back again." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah." And, like, I know how this works. After years, I know how this works. I know how, like, the questions come eventually when they see you for a while. So eventually, like, you get asked the usual questions, like, "Oh," and they try to make it, like I said, I know how this works. They try to make it like friendly, and they are friendly, but I know, like, they're curious, suspicious, whatever. Like, they want to know why I'm show up every day. So I know how it works. So I get asked the usual, "Oh, like, are you from here? Like, you traveling? Are you guest at the hotel?" And at first I was thinking about like not answering, not like, being flat out rude and just ignoring them, but just like kind of changing the subject or just like finding a way around not answering. But then I'm like, like, why not answer? I know why they're asking the questions, but yeah, it's more than just small talk, or it could be small talk. I mean, I'm pretty sure I know why, the real reason why they're asking. But, I just answer because, why lie? Why try to find a way around answering? Like, just answer. It's no big deal. So I tell them, "No, I'm not a guest." Like, and then she just like said, "Oh, you just like seeing me." I'm like, "Oh, well, this is here for the ice water." Because, like, I mean, that night I was just super thirsty. And I have water. I'm not sure if they know that I have water in my bag already, because I always carry around water because here I have to. But, like, the ice water is just a lot better because it's colder. It's, like, more refreshing. So I do like the ice water. So I'm like, oh, I just like the ice water and like, haha. But I did like kind of not flat out lie, but when they asked that, oh, like, are you from here? And I was like, yeah, because technically, like, it is kind of like the truth because I am like from here now. Like, I'm here, so I'm kind of from here. I've been from here for like a month now, so. And they're like, oh, what area? And I knew that was going to come next, so I'm like, oh, Tampa. Oh. I don't care, like, I told you guys I'm in Florida now, so like, I don't care. Now you know the city. I don't care. But yeah, I'm like Tampa. And so they're like, oh, like, okay. So anyways, I just went around, tried to get my water to try to avoid any more questions. Cause like I said, I'm there and I'm technically, I can be there, but I don't know if I'm, like not really supposed to be there. Cause I don't know, like, if that Starbucks is for the hotel or versus like a public I'm pretty sure it's a public Starbucks. Like, they're not gonna have security like checking, like, oh, are you a guest of the hotel? Like, I just walk in, get what I need to do, and just like walk out. Like, nobody's ever, but I have gotten, that's not the first time I've gotten questions since I've been there. Usually I'm asked, like, am I traveling? Like, where am I going to next? And blah, blah, blah. And I said, oh, like, I'm staying in the area. Like, just answer. And everything's all fine and well. But anyway, I'm saying this because I went to the bathroom because I usually go in there because I have to use the bathroom. And I go in that Starbucks like twice. And here's another tip before I get into the story, because this is a story time video. But here's another tip. If you are homeless and you have to go into a public facility to use their restroom, freshen up, do whatever you need to do. Because I don't just use the restroom. Like, I kind of like freshen up a little bit. And make sure if you do that, do not stay in for like a super long time. Because they will, like, notice. They'll probably, if you stay in there like a really, really, really long time, like I've seen other, homeless people do, like, they'll come in with security eventually, like, because it may not seem like they're not watching, like they don't care, they're not watching, but they are. Like, they're like good at being discreet about it, but they are watching you. And they take notice of things. Like, some people, like, they're too busy on their phone or doing other things to just care. Or some people, they do take notice, but they just don't care. But most of the time they are watching you. They very much do care. So if you do that, just don't spend like a ridiculous amount of time in there. Use the bathroom, do what you need to do for like a couple minutes. I usually try to stay in there for like no more than 15 minutes. Sometimes I go a little over, but not like a half an hour or like an hour or anything like that. In the bathroom, no. Now, if I'm just like in the facility, I might spend like up to an hour. Like this morning, I spent up to an hour in there, and I just cut it off at that. But in the bathroom, try to spend no more than 15 minutes in there. That's what I give myself. If you want to like push it a little bit, 20 minutes max, but 15 minutes like is what you should aim for if you have to use the bathroom. And so yeah. Anyways, when I came out of the bathroom, I noticed there was like some food on the table, and it was my table. Like, I had left my stuff on there because I kind of felt comfortable. Like, I was taking my stuff, with me into the bathroom, but and then one of the employees like, oh, we'll watch your stuff for you. And I'm like, oh no, yeah, that's fine, because they're like running around doing different things. So I'm not sure if they're going to stay with my stuff and like watching it. Because there is some, like, with me there, I noticed there are like a few other homeless people that come in and out of the hotel and the Starbucks. So since noticing that, like, it's not all guests there, I don't want to like leave my stuff if somebody's not gonna like stand there the whole time and watch it, which, and they don't have to do that. But if they're not gonna do that, then I just rather bring my stuff with me. Anyways, I went out. There was like some food on the table, so I grabbed the food and I came to the desk, the Starbucks desk, and the Starbucks cashier, and I was like, hey, and before I even said anything, they're like, oh, that's for you. And I'm like, oh, okay, like, oh, I'm like, thank you. I thought this was for somebody's set their food here. I was gonna return it, like I thought this was somebody else's order, and I was gonna like return it back. And they're like, oh no, that's for you. Keep it. I'm like, oh, I don't have any money to like pay for it, which I did, but I only had cash. Again, like they don't accept cash for whatever reason. But I was just resorted to using Apple Pay because I didn't have any money left on my card. So I technically could pay for the food that they were obviously giving to me for free, but they didn't accept cash. So I'm like, oh, not have any money. They're like, oh, that's fine. Like, that's fine. So I kind of felt bad when I did this. So I looked in the food and I noticed it was like one of my favorite sandwiches. They made a bacon Gouda sandwich for me, but it had the bacon in it. And like a few times I went in there, I asked for no meat, but they don't know that I'm not vegetarian. I don't expect them to like memorize that. They have plenty of customers. So anyway, I was like, oh, thank you, but like I don't eat meat. And thinking back on it now, I just could have taken the bacon off. But they're like, oh, I'm sorry. And I'm like, oh no, that's fine. Like you didn't know. But they said they would remake it for me. And they're like, did you touch it already? And I'm like, yeah, but I only touched like the wrapper. But if I touch it at all, like, they got to throw it away. So I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I was like, no, man, I should have said anything. Just pick the meat off. But sometimes, especially with cheese, like when it's really melted in there and I pick it off, like there's still some pieces of meat on there. So when it's melted like that, it's really hard to get the meat off. That's, another reason why I just don't want to eat it at all. So they remade it for me. Like, they did throw, since I touched it, they threw the old one out, and I kind of felt bad. But I'm like, oh, it's fine. So I sat back at my table and was just charging my phone. Because I usually come there like an hour before they close. Just so, like I said, I like to spend like at least an hour there so I don't get any like questions and stuff like that. So I'm not sitting there for like I time it so I don't not there for a super long time. So they came back with not just the bacon, the Gouda without the meat, but with another meal, and it was like the feta wrap. I haven't been to Starbucks in a couple of years, so I don't go there a lot. Like I don't go there at all. So I just forgot the name, but it's like the feta wrap, the breakfast wrap. I just forget what it's called, but it's with the egg white and other stuff, the spinach and other stuff. But they gave me that, and they gave me like the Gouda sandwich, and once again it was free. So I was like, oh, like I was like really appreciative. And so they're like, yeah, like enjoying everything. And I went up and I thanked, because there was 2 employees there, and so she brought it to me. And so I got up and I thanked the other lady, because everybody there is usually nice. I never have any issues or anything when I go there. So I thanked both of them. And so I sat down, like ate my free food, and like just charged my phone, got my usual ice water, and this time I downed the whole thing. And I wanted to get a second cup, but I didn't, for some reason. Like I just felt like I was bothering them, so I just like drank the water I had in my backpack. Anyways, I don't know why I took a whole 15 minutes to tell this short story, but that was like, just wanted to share that. It was nice. Kind of like made me feel a little better, because at first, I'm like, oh, I'm being interrogated again. Like I understood why. Like I'm coming there every day and not really like buying anything, just sitting there basically and just sipping on my water, and just most of the time not touching it, because like I said, I'm just there to charge my phone, because I need to like have my phone like charged for an emergency. Like I can't be out here on the street like, Like I said, I only come there twice to charge my phone, use the bathroom, blah, blah, blah. But it's mostly charge my phone. I need to have my phone charged on me in case of an emergency. So I usually go there. Okay. I wasn't gonna like swallow that because that needs to come out. I'm still sick, so whatever needs to come out needs to come out. Like, it's just gonna have to take a short pause. Anyway, I'm gonna get into the story time. But yeah, like, it made me feel a little better because at first I was like, oh, they're interrogating me like the usual. So like, I just, like, okay, whatever. Because I'm not doing anything wrong, so it is what it is. But I came back and, they just gave me like 2 free meals. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, maybe there was a reason why they were asking the questions. And you're like, I don't know why they're asking the questions, but I'm glad that they were, nice enough to do that for me. And yeah, after I leave this area, I'll definitely give that hotel and Starbucks a good review, even though I was not a guest there. I'm still like a patron there. I did spend some money there, so I received good customer service. And as usual, when I receive good customer service anywhere that I am, I leave a good review. So I will make sure to do that when I leave this area eventually. But yeah, this like kind of just made my night a little bit. And I got some food in me, even though I did eat that day. Like I said, I had Subway for lunch that day. I'm gonna probably have Subway again today. And I like Subway too. I like Subway and Starbucks. And as I was at, well, let me get into the story. It's almost 20 minutes, and I said this would be the last part of the story time. So let me get into the story finally. I just want to share that. Where did I even leave off? So I'm joining the program, right? Like, at first I put the headscarf on because Miss Kim, she told me to like, and I'll just call her Kim. I don't even want to say the miss and everything. I mean, it's no big deal, but yeah. So Kim, she told me to put the headscarf back on. I needed a roof over my head. I just did it, complied, put it back on. Like I said, I didn't want to, but I put it back on. So even though I put it back on, actually, I think before I put it back on, at first, like, I was thinking of leaving. I'm like, let me just go, because I am not going to do what this woman says and just because she just has some issue or whatever with me. And I gotta clean my glasses. But yeah, so let me clean my glasses. I can't really see. So at first I was gonna leave. So I started like packing my stuff up and everything. And usually I use tissue to clean my glasses because my hoodie's kind of dirty, but this should do for now. So what was I saying? Yeah, so I packed my stuff and I was like getting ready to leave. And so somebody like, why does my eye, maybe it's not the glasses, my eye just like, I don't know what's going on with my eye. But so I was like on my way out, I was like get my stuff and get ready to go. And I remember like the girl I told you about like before, who said I said like, she's a former gang member and everything. I remember as I was like sitting down just like contemplating what I was gonna do, she was up there like I was in the auditorium, by the way. There were other people sitting where I was, and I just like sat down with them, and they were listening to her speak, and she was up there on the microphone, and she was giving like her testimony. And I'm not sure if I was sitting with the other program people, or with overnight guests. I don't know. I don't remember who she was giving her testimony to, but she was giving her testimony. And that was like, a common thing there for people to get up and just share their testimony with everybody. I didn't end up doing that until later on. But yeah, she was up there, and I wasn't really like listening because I had a lot going on my mind, but I was sitting there and she was up there. And eventually I got up while she was still giving her testimony, and like people were still listening. I eventually got up and I just like walked out of the auditorium, and like, she continued speaking and everything. So I walked out, and I was on my way like leaving. I was like leaving, and then this girl, and she's like really sweet too. Like we got along like the entire time I was there. She's like maybe a little bit too nice, because I kind of witnessed how people were like kind of walking over her a little bit while I was there. So she maybe was a little bit too nice. And also like she had, I don't want to put her business out there or anything. I'm not going to identify who this individual is, but from what I heard, like she had kind of like a rocky marriage. I'm not sure if the guy was like abusive or anything, but he just didn't like treat her the best, and she kind of like put up with it. I think she had kids too. Anyway, she was, setting all that aside, her personality was like really sweet, and she was nice to me the entire time. So as I was leaving out the door, she literally like chased me out. I remember this like it was yesterday. Like she chased me out the door. She's like, "Don't leave, stay." And I'm not sure. I know she's Asian, but I'm not sure where from Asia she's from. But she was like chasing me out once I eat something, maybe something's going on with my eye. It's kind of distracting me. But once I eat something, maybe that might go away. So I eventually did stay. And like, she was just, I was out the door by that point, and she was just following me out the door, just begging me to stay and everything. And maybe she kind of had like a part in me eventually deciding to stay. So I eventually stayed. I put not stupid, but I took the scarf off. I stayed, and I joined the Bible program. Now, during that time, I'm just gonna like skip ahead to like my time there. And like I said, this isn't gonna go in chronological order, because like I said, this was like 10 years ago. So I'm gonna be like, oh, like this month this happened, and then this week this happened next, because no, I don't like, I remember like some events that happened during my stay there, but it's not like going to be in order. Like I always try to tell stuff in order, but like this time it's just not going to be in order. So you'll just have to kind of bear with me for that. If you want to ask like, when did this happen, and did this happen before this, or did this happen first, or did that happen like last? Like, I don't know. I just know that it happened. But so I had some good times while I was in the Bible program, and I had some bad times. The only complaint, one of the major complaints I had while I was in that program, like I said, it's a Christian shelter, and, based on the name, like it's a Christian program, obviously. So it's a lot more strict than being an overnight guest. Being an overnight guest, like, they have rules because it's a shelter, but being in the program, like, you choose to be there. Like, you can either stay as an overnight guest for however long until you get housing or stuff like that, and then, just stay like that. Or you can choose to tell your case manager that you want to go upstairs, move into the Bible program. So when you go upstairs, there's like a, it's like it's co-ed. It's like a co-ed program, but of course the men and women are separated, but men or women can join the Bible program. So they got a women's dorm, they had a men's dorm. So they went to my dorm, and of course it's a lot smaller than the overnight guest dorm, which is like hundreds of women in like one big space. There's still bunk beds, and it's bunk beds. Like I've been sleeping in bunk beds since I was a child, so it's no big deal. Of course I would rather my own bed, but bunk beds are fine too. And also like bottom, top bunk, I don't care. Like, anyways, I don't remember what bunk I had, because sometimes I was on the top, sometimes I was on the bottom. I didn't just keep, actually, did I keep my same bed for the entire stay? Maybe I did, because I know at one point I was at the top bunk, so maybe I just kept that entire bed the whole time. I don't know. But so yeah, in the dorm, it's a lot smaller. It was like, I would say, I'm bad at estimating, but I would say maybe like it was up to like 20, maybe 20 women. Oh, was it 20 or like 30? No, it wasn't 30. Maybe 20, around that number. So it was a lot smaller. So that was kind of nice. Everybody there was cool. I remember like when I do remember when I first like got to the dorms, and like there was only a few people like talked to me, and that was fine, because I was like, I'm mostly to myself anyways. So excuse me if I keep yawning. Like, I'm back to being sleep deprived, so I didn't get like a whole bunch of sleep last night, and it was raining and everything, so excuse me for that. But I'll try to keep the yawning at a minimum, but no promises. But so yeah, like not a lot of people talk to me. I didn't talk to anybody. I just like was trying to get situated and stuff. I think a few people introduced themselves. And yeah, there was this like one girl, this one woman, like, I won't say girl, because everybody there was like, my 2 years of staying in that program, there was, I think, one person that was kind of close to my age, and I don't really remember her age, actually. She's probably like a little younger than me. Actually, well, yeah. And there was like another person, and she wasn't like, she was older than me by like more than 5 years, maybe even 10 years, but like we were kind of around the same age. Like, she wasn't like in her 50s or anything, like most of the people there in the overnight guests and in the program overall, in the shelter overall. Most of the people there, and still to this day, all these shelters I stay in, most of the people there are like 40s, 50s, 60s, maybe 70s, but a lot older than me. Okay, so most of the people in the program were not my age. They were a lot like my mom's age, like grandmother's age, things like that. So I remember like one of the first things like somebody said to me, and I don't know, like this specific individual, her name was, I called her Miss Lee, like everybody called her Miss Lee, but she, like, I don't know, because some people there, even in the program, they had like kind of, it was clear they kind of had like some emotional, mental, whatever going on, disturbance. So for her, I'm not like really sure, but she kind of like, it seemed like she liked me, and then it seemed like she was doing things to like get me put out of the program. Like, I don't know, like sometimes even sometimes females are just really weird like that. Like, the passive aggressive, and just like the backstabbing, and just like being weird and just fake and all that. We all know how that works. I'm never that way, and I'm a female, but most females are just like that, I guess. But Um, so yeah. Uh, so what was I saying? So I came in and she's like, I was laying on my bed and she was like tapping on my bed. She's like, hey, you gotta get up and you gotta like shower and do this and that. I think that's what she said. You gotta like get up and like, and I opened my eyes because I'm laying in my bed and my eyes are closed. I wasn't sleeping, but like I opened my eyes. I like stared at her and like I guess she's waiting for me to respond. I don't know what she was expecting me to say to that. But she's still standing there, and then I closed my eyes again, and I just like flat out ignore her. I didn't respond or anything. So she left, and then she like, this was like her best friend in like the dorm, and me and her like kind of got along too. And like sometimes we got into like, sometimes the people that I got along there, like sometimes we had our like little arguments or just like but we mostly got along. She went and I heard her like go tell her like I told her to do this and that, and she's just like laying there, and I don't remember what she said, but she said something to that effect. And so nobody else bothered me because I'm like beside myself right now, and I'm just like just in a really bad mood. Even though I'm in the Bible program now, I'm still like in a pretty bad mood because I've just got a lot going on. So I just don't have time for anybody's like attitude or for like anybody. She wasn't really giving me attitude, but she wasn't like friendly either. She didn't introduce herself or anything. She just like walked up to me, started trying to give me orders, and I don't know if she thought I was gonna follow the orders just because I'm new and because she thinks she's the leader or whatever. But I just like went back and closed my eyes. But so yeah, anyways, like let's just fast forward because I don't remember what happened after that. But anyway, like there was like another thing because we're all women, and like I don't know why, because like in downstairs I said I was like I wasn't shy about my body, but I just wasn't comfortable just like getting undressed in front of like strangers, even if they are women like me. But for some reason, like when I was in the dorm, I guess because it's less people, and it was like less chaotic or whatever, I just felt a little more comfortable, not just like being butt naked or anything, but like I don't know, like just for not, like I said, I'm not gonna get too graphic on YouTube, but I was just like walking around the dorm, and I was just like, basically I was like half naked, I guess. Like I was just walking around my underwear and my bra and everything, like in my undergarments, and like I think I was just like in the middle of getting changed into something, but I was like I didn't feel like going into the bathroom and getting changed. I was just like walking around. And so the same woman who was like, hey, you need to get up and shower and all this and stuff. So I walked past her, like, pretty much in my birthday suit and everything. And she's like, yoo-hoo, like, you can't walk around like that. And I think I may have responded to her this time. And I'm like, oh, like, I don't remember what I said or if I responded at all. But eventually she did get staff, and staff came in, and she was like, oh, you can't really like do that here, basically is what she said. And I'm like, oh, we're all females here. And she's like, yeah, but we can't really like do that. So I'm like, okay, like, and eventually like she brought like not the staff but the other woman. She went and remember the lady I was talking about, she was a former like gang member and all that stuff, and we got close as time went on. like really close. But in the beginning, I think she's one of the first to introduce herself to me. But like she brought her back to kind of like address this whole situation of me being like half naked basically. And she's like, can you tell her like we don't do that here and everything? And she was like, yeah. She's like, yeah, we you can't really like walk around like that. And she was like nice about everything. But me being me, I'm just like, because I was already mad that I couldn't wear my headscarf, my like my scarf and everything. And so now I just feel like, oh, this is just too much. Like, people were saying I can't do this and that. So at that moment in time, like, I just didn't want to do it. So I just, like, staff, everybody, there's like 3 people there, like, at this point. And so, like, the girl, like, who I got close with eventually, like, for some reason, like, I brought her into it. And I'm like, oh, look at what she's wearing. Because she was, like, I think she was in pajamas at this time, but they were like really like form-fitting. They were like really tight and everything. So I'm like, oh, look what I remember saying. Look what she's wearing. Like, there's like nothing left to the imagination or something like that. And then she said, well, I'm getting ready to go to sleep. Like, get ready to go to bed or something like that. And so we kept going back and forth. Eventually, like, she left and like, she like walked away. And but eventually I put something on. So that was that. And they were just like really strict. Like, they had like other rules. Like, you couldn't walk outside the dorm wearing your pajamas. Like, you had to be like dressed and everything. And not just like dressed, but like, in like regular clothing. Like, you couldn't walk outside the door with your pajamas on for whatever reason. So yeah. So in the dorm, like, there's, what I said is like bunk beds, and it's like pretty much a regular dorm. Like, you had showers, and like, it's still like everybody like showers in the same place, like, obviously, but, it's like there's a lot less, people showering at the same time. And then you have the bathroom, and like that's it. As far as where you keep your stuff, like, I guess you could keep it under the bed, because they didn't really have anywhere for you to like keep your stuff at. They didn't have like lockers or anything. Like, some shelters have lockers. So, I was like kind of comfortable with, I guess, I don't remember where I kept my stuff. I didn't have, at the time, I don't remember if I had any of my own stuff. Like, usually these days when I get to a shelter, I usually come with my own stuff. But since, I'm literally just like left home and I don't have anything of my own. I don't have any of my own money or anything. So I really didn't have like work up to the point where I had my own stuff, my own clothes, money. Eventually I did start working up to that. But let me move on. So in the program, I kind of went over some of the rules. They had so many rules. I'm not gonna lie, like, some of the rules were kind of, in my opinion, just like a little overboard and a little ridiculous, but they did have a lot. But the main rules are like, you had to dress appropriately. Also, you had to kind of dress professionally. Like, you couldn't just wear whatever you wanted. Like, they were kind of strict when it came to that. You couldn't just like wear, it's kind of like a business casual, I would say. You couldn't just like, for the females, we had to keep it like, modest and everything, and we couldn't just wear like, I couldn't think of the word. Oh my god, like leggings, and also like, why can't I think of the word? Jeans. You can't just wear jeans. They were big on the jeans. Like, you can't. They were like really strict on the jeans for some reason. You can only wear jeans like I guess special occasions, or they eventually like kind of loosened up a little where you can wear jeans like on the weekends or something like that, but you can't wear jeans like every day. You kind of have to keep it like kind of business casual, kind of professional. So they also had like a clothing closet, like I mentioned earlier, where it was in the basement. That's where you did laundry and all that stuff too. So there, like, they take you to like get clothes if you need to. Eventually I had to do that because, like I said, I didn't have my own stuff. So eventually I did have to go to the clothing closet, and they had some like decent stuff there. It's all like pretty much donated clothes. And since I'm assuming they have like some wealthy donors, like the clothes that are donated, they're all like, like they're really good clothes. So I was able to find some stuff that I wanted. Sometimes I didn't, but sometimes I came upon stuff that I liked. But the main thing is I was able to like get enough clothes for myself. But I had to like, follow the kind of like the dress code. So for the females, we pretty much had to wear dresses. Like we were required to wear dresses, like no pants, like no anything like that. So yeah, it was like really strict for the females especially. So I followed with that. Eventually I was able to continue with my GED because I asked about that, and they were like, oh, and they paid for it too, which is like was the awesome thing about it. Because like I said, I didn't have money to pay for it at the time. It is cost money to take the GED test and everything. And I told them, like, I'm already halfway done with it, and they're like, no problem, like you can still finish it. We pay for it, you don't have to like, So eventually I was able to get my GED. I was like kind of worried about it because my circumstances and everything. And it was really tough because I still had to, when I was taking it, like, before I left home and became homeless, I was, because you get to like, what's it called? You get to take classes. So it's just not, you don't just have to just take the GED, like, because I didn't do that. Because I was kind of behind, especially with math. Like, I kind of struggled with some areas, so I knew I couldn't just take it, and because then I probably would have failed if I did it like that. So, excuse me. So, I knew I kind of had to, like, take classes. So what I did at the time, at first, I was, like, taking classes at, what was it called? Oh, man. What was this college called? It was like a community college. I cannot think of the name. What was that college called? I don't know. But it was like a community college, and like they had GED classes. So it wasn't here in Washington because, oh my gosh. Anyways, what was the name of that school? I can't think of it. Because there's different, like, community colleges. What's going on with my throat? But whatever the name of it is, like, I took classes there for like a couple of weeks or something. I don't know for how long. Maybe it was like a couple of months. But I wanted to make absolutely sure. I wanted to be absolutely sure that I was comfortable with, because if you fail the GED, like, it's not like you cannot take it again, but like, it costs money and stuff. So I just wanted to make sure. since I wasn't paying for it on my own, that I didn't have to keep like, paying to like pass the test. So I like took classes there, and what am I trying to say? Like, yeah, I was taking classes, but it was easier. Like, it was just easier because, I wasn't homeless. So, like, you have to understand, when you're going to school, if you're like taking classes, whatever you're doing, like if you're going to school and you're homeless, like it's not easy doing that. So, I mean, for obvious reasons. So, like, yeah, anyways, what am I trying to say? When I was taking those classes, I was able to like focus a lot better. And it was still hard too. Like, it was still hard. Because like I said, like when it came to math, and that was pretty much it, like math. But I was just like kind of behind. But I mean, for some reason I was like doing good. I remember like when I was like, I'm sorry guys, I'm trying to like get this out, but I remember one of the people that was like, I'm trying to, when we take the GED test, it's kind of like, I said it's a class. Like, you come in and like people like sit down, and like the teacher there, like, because they are a teacher, like they like ask you stuff, and oh my gosh, let me just move on because I'm kind of having, like, they ask you like sorry guys, like I'm tired, like, but they ask you like, oh my gosh, why am I having a hard time like trying to like get this out? Like, pretty much, like, they make sure that like you can they make sure, we're almost at an hour and I can't they ask you, you guys know what I'm trying to like, what I'm trying to say. But they ask, oh my gosh, anyways, it's just like really, it's hard trying to like, it's hard trying to like, I did okay because like I was able to I got the GED. I was able to like get it, but at first, like, I was just thinking that I wasn't going to get the GED because it was just hard at first, but I guess it wasn't that hard because, I was able to get it. But what was what? I can't think of. Okay, so anyways, oh my gosh, actually, maybe I'll just hear, I'll just hear, why can't I? I'm sorry, guys. Like, I'm just gonna, like, it's almost, oh my God. Let me just, I'm just gonna go because it's also, it's almost like one, I'll just like, bye guys. I'm sorry. Bye. I'm gonna do the, what am I'm at 3. I'm gonna go like 4 because think I'm at like 3. Now I'll get 4. But yeah, bye.